There's someone buying this. So someone's got something early here. This move here is being attributed to shorts covering ahead of the statement. I would argue that it doesn't look like that at all. It looks like somebody's got it early. Somebody's got a rates on hold early. We've had a neutral day so far in the bunds, as I was saying earlier. Very balanced day, and we just flushed the support lows at 6 PM, and then ever since then we've just trended upwards. And you can see, particularly about 20 minutes ago, it's picking up some pace to the upside. I do think the bunds are a sell though. Not here obviously, but I do think if we trade up around double O's and just above yesterday's volume value area high, we've got a low volume node at 01s. I think double O's to 02 is a good area to try and crack this on the short side in the bunds, because fundamentally I think it's a sell. Obviously if the Fed do by any chance raise rates, we should see this absolutely prolapse, and if they don't,
here continuing to catch a bid.
Yeah, Rand's just all over this now as well. It's like they've just noticed that the fucking treasuries are going bid. But if they don't raise, as I was saying, they keep them on hold. I think the accompanying pressure will be of critical importance, and I think then that obviously we would get a relief bid in the bunds in the short term, but I think we'd sell off on that pressure. Taking a look at the rest of the markets, obviously there are some quite interesting areas to do business going forward. I don't know which of these areas we'll see tonight, but I've been going on about this area in the S&P 500 for a long time. You see in this zone here that we've got the 61% fib right from this high all the way down to this low. We've got the back of this big channel line that's never been tested post break. So if you look at that on, say, a daily chart, you'll see just how mammoth that is, and obviously the back of that is now converging with huge weekly prior support. I mean, this is the daddy of zones, and the 2030 area, this is really a big fucking zone at 2030s, and I would have to crack that short if we were to trade up there. So
10 minutes
to go,
and the release of the well-anticipated FOMC monetary policy decisions.
Very well bid here. This is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I'm sure I'm not going to be the only one that's absolutely gobsmacked if they raise now. This should be a foregone conclusion that they're not going to with this price action. But again, I mean, if they do, guys, it will be Armageddon. It will get incredibly thin, if they come in and raise rates. That's probably my broker calling with a margin call. Just kidding. Alright guys, here we go.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
As another reminder, sometimes it is delayed by a few seconds.
Okay, again, nothing in, all orders pulled.
10 seconds. Zero to 0.25, so that's unchanged.
Unchanged.
The Fed vote in favour policy was 9-1. Lacquer dissented.
Okay, fuck me, that is a pop. Right, it's a good level up at 30s.
The Fed says 13 officials would prefer first rate hike in 2015. Previously it was 15, so now seeing 13 officials. They see recent global economic and financial developments may restrain economic activity somewhat, likely to put further downward pressure on inflation in the near term. The Fed repeats they will raise rates when it's seen some further improvement in the labour market and when it is reasonably confident inflation will move back to its 2% target. But again, the Fed keep rates.
Yeah. So, obviously someone had that fucking early. Exactly how it played out last time, just that solid buying like every single 5-minute candle in neutral to green for an hour before. If we see 29s, I'm going to come in as a seller up there at 29s. Most likely going to try and buy a dip as well back towards those 95s. I mean, again, chances of seeing that, not sure. Not particularly likely. 30s is obviously, if we have a look at the weekly profile, this set of singles, and obviously last week's low. There is also a very good area up at 55s, which is last week's volume value area low, and the second set of these 4 singles on the way up. 55s is a very, very decent area. We're seeing those 29s here. This is quite a key area. It's a pretty good sell here, I think, although I think that the risk reward doesn't really merit it. I'd want to stop at 37s, and the issue I've got with that is you're looking at really potentially at finding trouble anywhere from 21s at the low end to 25s. I'm just not sure there's too much in it. Ideally you want to be long this, he says, after it's gone absolutely apeshit, but you know, it's got to pull back to a decent level. I mean, it's probably worth having a go at these 20s in a minute, but I mean, I say in a minute, I mean if it pulls back there, 20s is not a bad area to look at. But now you've got to be a little bit wary of the presser, which starts in 10 minutes. I tell you what, I think a lot of guys in prop will have done their fucking arse tonight, because there's quite a few people that were betting on a raise, and I know some of those guys are going to have had maybe not massive size on, but going to have had positions early in anticipation of a raise. And there's quite a few people I spoke to that were very confident that the Fed were going to raise tonight. But I mean, shit, it wasn't like you didn't get decent warning. I mean, that move, I've never seen anything so suspect in my entire life. Well, apart from last month. I mean, the squawk is saying, oh, you know, it's traders covering positions. That's bullshit. You know, well, obviously the squawk isn't going to say someone's got it early, but it doesn't add up. The closer you get to the event, the less liquidity there is going to be. So if you want to cover positions, you're going to cover them early in the day when there's liquidity, right? You're not going to wait to see nearer the time, because it's obvious to anybody, even a complete muppet that's been trading 5 minutes, that we've got a neutral day and we're not likely to see more than that. Right, 3 minutes to go till the presser then.
So it's just 1 minute now until the scheduled time for Fed Chair Yellen to begin her speech and press conference. She has not yet taken the stage. Chair Yellen just walking out on stage now.
Right, here she comes. Here she comes.
So Chair Yellen is reading her opening speech.
This is a pretty serious 60-minute candle. This is a pretty serious 60-minute candle. I will tell you that. Inflation is very low. Jesus, this is quite dovish.
Yellen says outlook abroad is more uncertain. So Yellen says there's been notable volatility in financial markets, and the
notable
outlook
volatility,
abroad is
no
more
shit,
uncertain.
Yellen, no shit.
Yellen says these developments may restrain US growth.
Right, here we go. Getting painfully close to testing these 56s here.
And says there's an argument for raising rates now. So again, Fed Yellen says there is an argument for raising rates now, and they discussed raising rates.
Let's see what we get up here, because I had planned to be short 56 and 59.
and says most participants expect conditions will make hike appropriate later this year. So again, Fed Chair Yellen says most participants expect conditions will make a hike appropriate
Well, there you
later
go.
this year.
That's why it's good to be fucking cautious. Because I would have got caught on that. Well, here comes the SPOO right into this critical area. Look, you got to look for a turn here. I can't see we're going up to 86s, but you never know if it wants to spike. Let's get something in. 86s, 2 at 86s, 2 at 88s, 4 at 95s. That's the last sort of naked support around 88s. One thing for certain, if you get short, don't overstay your welcome, because there's incredibly high probability that we're going to close literally on the high of day or very, very close to it. Now you can tell, you know, the rotations are shallow, and again, a real strong sign of a very strong trend is when the pullbacks are just to the last highs, as you see. So when we got that short, we took it to 47s, 45s was the low. So they're just buying it basically off of every high, which means that you've got aggressive buyers that want to basically get in. They're doing business at the absolute technical first point. I tell you what, look at the daily candle on this SPOO, incidentally. Look at that. Right off this level, man. I mean, that is primed. So many markets that are setting up with just incredibly interesting closes here. That SPOO looks, from a daily perspective, primed to shit itself. Good God. Tomorrow could be a big day. A big day indeed. 25 minutes to go, guys. I don't think there's going to be a lot here to do. I'm certainly going to watch it right till the close, but I'm not going to do anything now.